The eclipse wasn't on the calendar. One moment, the sun blazed over the savannah. The next, a black hole swallowed it whole. No corona. No light. Just an abyss in the sky, leaking thick, ink-like shadows that dripped onto the earth. And then, the shadows started whispering. Folake. Jide. Odeboya. Folake, the last surviving archaeologist from the Seven Seals expedition, dropped her coffee. Those were her dead teammates' names. The village around her froze. Birds fell silent. Even the wind held its breath. Then, the screaming started. The black sun. Folake ran to her hut, grabbing a rusty machete, the one she'd used to bury Jide. The cracked seal fragment is still pulsing blue in her bag. A journal with scribbled warnings, the seals with "The flood comes." Outside, the villagers were losing their minds. A mother stabbed her own child, shrieking, "You're not real." The blacksmith walked into a fire, laughing as his skin burned. The shadows coiled around ankles, dragging people into the dark. And the whispers grew louder. "You left us to die in that cave, Folake." Jide's voice. She spun and saw his corpse, jaw unhinged, crawling from a puddle of night. As Folake raised her machete, a blast of wind sliced through the shadows. A woman stood at the village edge, cloak whipping, eyes burning with stormlight. Ife. The healer from the mist-devoured village. She slammed her staff down, sending a pulse of clean air through the corruption. "Run," she shouted at Folake. "This eclipse isn't natural, it's a door." Folake didn't argue. Together they bolted as the dead archaeologists gave chase. In a crumbling shrine, Ife pressed her hand to Folake's chest. "You carry a piece of the seal," she gasped. "That's why the shadows know your name." Folake looked at the black veins now creeping up her arms. Ife showed her own wrist, the faint sigil from her encounter with the mist. "We are marked. But marks can be used." The dead archaeologists surrounded the shrine, their bodies merging with the darkness. Ife began a chant, calling Oya's winds, but Folake stopped her. "No," she said, pressing the seal fragment into Ife's hands. "The door needs to close." Before Ife could react, Folake sprinted into the mob of shadows, plunging the machete into her own stomach. Black light erupted. The eclipse shuddered, cracks of sunlight spearing through. The shadows screamed, dragged backward into Folake's bleeding body as she collapsed. Morning. The sun returned, weak but steady. Ife stood alone, holding Folake's empty journal. The now cold seal fragment. A single charcoal drawing of a woman with sun-shot lips. Behind her, the village burned quietly. Somewhere, a rootless tree sprouted new leaves. The traveler stood there, watching. Some doors must be closed from the inside.